Welcome back. I am Collins Trott, Child Development Faculty on the Wallace Community College Dothan campus. In this episode, we are going to be learning about developing citizenship, civics, and government. Even while the Founding Fathers struggled to create the Constitution and Bill of Rights that would guide the new nation, they recognized that a free society would rely ultimately on the knowledge, skills, values, and involvement of its citizens. Therefore, civics education is essential to the preservation and improvement of a democratic society. Schools fulfill this mission through the formal curriculum and informal experiences. For young children, the informal experiences of participating in a classroom consciously organized to model democratic values provides an essential foundation for increasingly complex civic understandings and participation. After reviewing all of the week's content, you should be able to explain the importance of civics and government in early childhood education, discuss the key concepts, themes that children can explore in the study of civics and government, and learn ways to begin to teach and introduce children to concepts of civics and government. So join me, Miss Trott, as we learn all about developing citizenship, civics, and government. Teachers and schools manifest several democratic and governance principles on a daily basis. Rights and responsibilities, the individual versus the common good, rules and laws, participation, fairness, multiple perspectives, power and authority, and the role of authority figures to maintain order and ensure that basic needs and wants are met. Free societies rely on the knowledge, skills, values, and involvement of its citizens. Therefore, civics education is essential to the preservation and improvement of a democratic society. Civics education for children should focus on content knowledge, thinking skills, and participation skills. Key concepts are learned through the daily routines and expectations of community, school life, and civic ideals and practices are experienced through activities such as helping to set classroom expectations, examining experiences in relation to ideals, conducting service projects, participating in class meetings, and considering how to balance the needs of the individual and the group. Young children explore their developing senses of fairness, rules, and order through relationships with others. They develop an awareness of rights and responsibilities in specific contexts. They develop notions of power and authority as they interact with their teachers. Democratic values are experienced in preschool and primary programs where children are not just preparing to become members of a democratic society, but contribute to a building and fostering a democratic society and receive the benefits of belonging to the society. In a democratic group, teachers share control. Children make decisions. Discipline is firm and consistent, but does not revolve around force, coercion, embarrassment, or threat. Freedom of thought and speech are fostered. Children are never overwhelmed by the power of others. A sense of community is built. Teachers model respect for others, and teachers elicit respectful, caring behaviors from the children. The disposition to work for the common good and participate in joint efforts begins early in life. For children under the ages of 7 or 8, participation begins when they assume responsibility for themselves. Rooms for 3 and 4-year-olds are arranged not only to permit, but to promote children's responsibility for their own dressing, toileting, and washing. These very young children may begin to assume responsibility for others and the group by joining in small groups for discussions, activities, stories, or songs. With adult assistance, 3 and 4-year-olds can participate in setting tables, serving food, cleaning up after play and work, or caring for plants and animals that belong to the group. Learning to live and participate within a group means setting rules and following them. Children should take part in establishing rules in the class. Other rules are made for the children. Experiencing rules and discussing their purposes can help children realize that rules are meant to protect them and others. Children should also realize that they have the responsibility to follow the rules, to make the rules that are needed for living within a group, to change rules that no longer function to protect them and others, and to adjust the rules to fit changing situations. Political concepts typically based on children's own experiences are introduced to children informally. When teachers follow the principles of a democratic society, children experience political concepts every day. They understand that some people are in authority and know these people make and enforce rules in their homes, schools, and communities. The child's peer group, family, school, and community relations initially expose them to the core of politics, which is power and its use. Children directly experience rules and limitations as givens and behavior as good or bad, depending on whether it conforms to the rules. Children understand authority through their experiences at home and in school, and they see the president as a symbol of the government. Thus, children begin to understand that there are officials, people long before they can distinguish their positions and roles. They can also begin to understand that people in authority are responsible for making sure that needs and wants are met, that order is maintained, and that conflicts are managed and resolved. With experiential understandings of rules and authority and power, rights and responsibilities and citizenship, children will be able to learn increasingly detailed, differentiated, and abstract information. The habits and procedures involving in voting can be an appropriate part of children's early educational experiences. Children who have made many choices for themselves and experience the consequences learn to accept the consequences of the vote. Activities that involve voting, making choices, and respecting the choice of the majority can be experienced from a very young age. Using a variety of symbols such as pictures and visual stories and songs and movement can help children begin to understand abstract political concepts in concrete terms. To young children, the president is the symbol of the nation, and they can learn that the flag is a visual symbol of the same. Ownership of and responsibility for democracy involves much more than daily reciting of the pledge or even reciting the pledge on special occasions. Children must first learn who they are and how they fit into their own immediate community. Only after children develop individually in relation to family, school, neighborhood, and community can they begin to gain an understanding of their democracy. Now, let's review what we've learned. Each preschool primary classroom serves as a small laboratory in which children live the values of democracy. In a democratic classroom, teachers share control. Children make choices, freedom of speech, and thought are fostered. Children's rights are respected, and they are not overwhelmed by the power of others. A sense of community is built, and teachers serve as models of respect for others. Through their interactions with others within a democracy and its symbols, children will learn political values, especially those of the rule of the law, participation in democracy, ownership, and responsibility. That wraps us up for this episode. You can learn more about this topic by reviewing the resources posted in your course. As always, if you have any questions, please contact me or your instructor. Thanks for joining me, Miss Trott, as we learn all about developing citizenship, civics, and government. See you next time.